Padres rally from 5-0 down and beat the Braves 6-5 in the first of that day-night doubleheader today. Padres have now taken 3 straight from Atlanta, and they've climbed back over the 500 mark with a record of 25-24. We are 49 games into this season, nearly a third of the way through. And I have to be honest, I don't think anybody, anywhere, anyhow, can figure out this baseball team. I mean, this is about as confounding as it gets. You take 2 out of 3 over the Dodgers. You get swept at home by the Rockies. And you go to Atlanta. And you win 3 straight. Just what everybody expected. Just what everybody expected. But I must be straight. This is not really out of line with anything that's going on in the sports world right now. I mean, let's be honest. If I'd have told you 4 things were going to happen this weekend, would you have believed any of them? A, the Padres win 3 games in a row over Atlanta. B, the Indiana Pacers set an all-time NBA playoff record by shooting 67% in a Game 7 at Madison Square Garden to knock off the Knicks. The Pacers shoot 76% in the first half of that game. C, the defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets blow a 20-point lead in the second half at home in a Game 7 against a young team that's never been there before. Or I'll give you even a D. Aztec for life, Xander Schauffele actually hangs on and wins a golf tournament. And not just any golf tournament. He is now a major champion after taking the PGA. I think I would have bet on none of those things to happen.
Yeah, no, it was certainly an interesting weekend for San Diego sports.
It was weekend. It was weird for everybody. Right?
Yeah, especially with the way the week started. As you mentioned, with the sweep by the Rockies, and then everything all came out during the weekend. Everything
crazy happened. Like I said, Frank, I wouldn't have bet on any of those things happened. They all happened over the last 72 hours. So, but the Padres, they honestly make no sense to me. So I'm going to stop trying to figure them out. I'm going to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride and hope that we get where we want to go. Xander Bogarts gets hurt in the 3rd inning. I don't hear any cracks about the Padres rallying after he left the game. Not a good time to make a crack like that. Bogarts is probably out for a while. The first X-rays were negative. They'll take some more X-rays. I mean, you don't know. This could be anywhere from a couple of days to months. We'll just have to wait and see how it turns out. I know Trevor Story of Boston dove for a ball like that earlier this year. He's out for the season. Let's hope that Xander Bogarts is not out too long. The Padres may not be getting much from his bat, but they need him in this lineup. They need him in there to round out this infield. I know that Luis Arraez has been acquired. He does play some second base. He doesn't play it very well. I'd much rather keep Arraez at the DH spot and keep Xander and hope that Xander gets hot. But if he's hurt, then you have to figure it out. Donovan Solano plays some second base too, but he also doesn't play it very well. So, you've got some options. You just signed David Peralta. You could bring him up as a left-handed bat to DH if you use Solano at second base. There's a lot of things you can do, but this team, the one thing I do know, and I don't know very much anymore after what we just saw in Atlanta the last 3 days or 4 days. The one thing I do know is that this team doesn't really have a lot of room for error. No. They can't make a lot of mistakes. They can't pitch badly. They can't leave runners in scoring position. They don't win games like that. They win when they do everything pretty well. And I would think losing Xander Bogarts for a month or two would be something that would be tough to deal with.
I mean, it's not going to be great, but if you think about it, it just puts you back where you were before Manny was able to play in the field. You have that somewhat hole in DH. Now you're filling second base instead of third base with a guy who should be your designated hitter. And you're right, you do have a couple more options. You do have Donovan Solano like you didn't have at the beginning of the season. You now have David Peralta, as you mentioned, like you didn't have at the beginning of the season. So there are some different options, but really it just puts you back to the first month of the season where now you're filling another hole for another star player with a guy who should be your DH.
Yeah. Adam Klug just, I can't believe Adam Klug is even suggesting something. I figured he'd be crying his eyes out somewhere after the Braves blew that 5-0 lead. But Adam suggests you could move Cronenworth to second base and play either Arise or Solano on first. That probably is a little better defensively. But I'll tell you one thing, I sure love Jake at first base defensively. He made a whale of a play in the ninth inning on that soft line drive that Duvall hit. That ball could have bounced off his glove down the line. Who knows where that goes? Of course, Kim made an unbelievable circus catch on the leadoff hitter, Michael Harris. And Robert Suarez finished up with a save that you got to have. Not that Suarez, he hasn't blown one yet. And I say yet because the chances are pretty good. He's going to have one day where they get him. But when you come from 5-0 down, you take a 6-5 lead late, that's a save you have to have. You don't want to just give that one back. And, Suarez comes through once again. Give some credit to Logan Gillespie, right? This guy comes in as an emergency doubleheader day pitcher. Gives you 2 shutout innings. Johnny Brito gave you a shutout inning. Estrada's looking like the 8th inning guy, at least for now. I mean, he shuts him down on 2 strikeouts. Matt Olson swung at a bad pitch, but Estrada got him in the 8th inning. That was a big out. And look, the Padres are down 5-0 against a pitcher who is number 2 in all of baseball in ERA this year at 1.34 on the road against the mighty Braves, and they come back and win the game. It just makes no sense coming on the heels of being swept by the Rockies, who, by the way, left here and immediately went up to San Francisco and got trounced 3 straight games. So if anybody can figure any of this stuff out, please, give me a call, explain. We got about an hour to try and chit-chat it away, 833-288-0973. But, 6-5 Padres. They come back. They win this one. They're back over 500. They win again later today. They would be 2 games over 500. That would be their high water mark of the season. It would match their high water mark of the season. They were 11-9 at one point earlier. But just think how crappy everybody thought the Padres were last Thursday and Friday. Yep. I mean, really. I mean, we're ready to throw this team out. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that most listeners, most of you wanted Tony and Scraby and myself and everybody before us and after us to just come on the radio and literally trash these guys. That's what you wanted. We didn't trash them. And the reason we didn't trash them is because this team is capable of doing what it just did. And this team, I can't explain it, but they are capable of beating and knocking off anybody. They're 5-3 against the Dodgers. They're 3-0 against the Braves. They're the best 2 teams in the league. Maybe the Phillies, too. The Phillies swept them, though.
The Phillies are number 1.
The Phillies are right now number 1. You're right. The Padres are also 7-17 at last check against teams that are currently in 4th or 5th place in baseball. Yeah. So this is just craziness. And I would say, I guess, unfortunately, after this series, they play the Reds, who aren't very good. But the better news is when they come home, they're playing the Yankees, who are good.
And that's another way you could look at this, too, is
what do you make of all this?
If you win, you expect a doubleheader split. It's hard to sweep a series. It's even harder to sweep a 4-game series. It's even harder to sweep a doubleheader.
Sure.
So you have to expect a split here today. You won the game that you were supposed to win. Now,
no, you won the game you're supposed to lose. You were down 5-0 to the.
I'm talking about with Dylan Cease on the mound.
You had Dylan Cease.
This was the game
Cease
that you would have thought.
Cease didn't pitch great today. You're right. That home run that Matt Olson hit, by the way, may have just landed somewhere north of Augusta. That was absolutely destroyed. Ozuna had a home run too, but no, this is you're right, Frank. You expect a split. It's hard to win 4, but nothing's going to surprise me at this point. They go in here, win this game this afternoon. go to Cincinnati and get blown out 3 straight, come home, sweep the Yankees. I don't know what they're going to do.
But
I don't think they know what they're going to do yet.
But all you need going into this Yankees series, and the Yankees are hot right now, all you need going into this Yankee series is one more win, and you have a winning road trip. That's it.
But that's not what you get. But when you start off 3-0, you got to get greedy.
No, I agree.
And that's what this team has not yet done, is get greedy. They get going on something, and then they don't, keep it going.
I 100%.
They cough it back up.
I 100% agree with you. But you can look at it as, okay, we got the winning road trip.
Yeah, but if
let's
they
go
lose,
into this
if they
Yankee
lose,
series on
if
a
they
high.
only get one more, on this road trip, they're going to come home under 500 still.
True. Yeah.
And that's the one thing, Frank, is that there's so many things that have happened good. They won 4 straight series against good teams. They have come from 8 runs down to win a game this year. Mm-hmm. They've now come from 5 runs down to win a game. They came from 4 runs down to win a 3rd game. Last year, they only came from 4 runs behind to win twice all season. They've already done it 3 times this year. They've swept the Braves. They've taken 4 out of 6 from the Dodgers, 5 out of 8 overall. And they're 15-8 on the road. And you add it all up, and they're still 500. They're still really basically a 500 team.
6 games under at home, too.
I know.
As you mentioned.
That's right.
10-16.
I can't explain it. All right, we'll take a quick break. If you want to join us, some phone calls, we'll do that, hear what you've got to say. Maybe you can explain something that none of us really can. The Padres, figuring them out. 833-288-0973. We got about an hour to hang with you. We'll talk deeper into those NBA games and Xander Schauffele's big moment at the PGA when the Gwynn and Chris intermission program continues.
It's always baseball season on 97.3 The Fan. Listen to your favorite sports station on the go using the free Odyssey app. Download it today.
Hey everybody, it's Scraby here for Gwynn and Chris. If you're searching for a healthcare provider, you know it's not very fun at all. Kaiser Permanente has 29 facilities around the county and 3 hospitals, which is great because if I need to pick up my prescriptions, I can order them to the closest Kaiser Permanente location to me. And if you're going for an appointment and you need lab work, you don't have to go anywhere else. You just walk down the hall and get your lab work done. They have the most care for you, all under one roof. For more information, go to kp.org/San Diego. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you.
Energy efficient windows, total roofing protection, and exterior house painting. It's all here at Genesis Home Improvements. With over 19 years of experience and a reputation built on trust and customer satisfaction, Genesis Home Improvements is your go-to partner for all your home improvement needs. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Lifetime warranty on all products. 100% financing. No money down. It's time to breathe new life into your home. Save 15% today. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsST.com.
San Diego Padres fans, hit a home run this baseball season and avoid the game day traffic by riding
All right, here we go at 1:28. Kind of weird to be on at this hour, but hey, it's a weird day of crazy day-night doubleheader stuff in Atlanta and a crazy first game. The Padres down 5-0 to the vaunted Braves. They come back to win it. By the way, you know, for all of the criticism Manny gets, and some of it's been warranted this year, been swinging like a rusty gate. But the reason Manny Machado still hits in the middle of your lineup is because he can still do things like that. And, you know, he comes up with a big hit, the 2-run double there. He gaps it in the 8th inning after Cronenworth's 2-run single. Profar had a key at bat, I thought, in that inning with the walk. Set everything up. The kid third baseman for Atlanta, short, could have turned a double play on the ground ball by Fernando. That would have ended the inning. That's how razor thin sometimes the differences between winning and losing. Short doesn't come up with the ball. Both runners are safe. Next thing you know, 4 runs are in. The Padres win 6-5. The only hiccup right now after 3 straight wins in Atlanta, going for a 4th later on this afternoon, the injury to Xander Bogarts. Here was Mike Schilt after the game. Now, Bogarts, if you didn't see it, dove for a hard ground ball by Ronald Acuna Jr. He gloved it, but he came up in a lot of pain, rolled over, holding his left shoulder. He left the game in the 3rd inning. Here's what Mike Schilt's report was.
Before we get into the pitching, Xander, what's the update?
Well, so far, you know, we're going to get some more imaging, but the initial imaging is negative, so it's positive. You know, he's got stability more than it looked like he might have, and he's got some strength and some range of motion. So, you know, more time will tell, but at least the initial feedback is, you know, initially best case scenario. Shoulder. Sure. Yeah.
Did you know right away? I mean,
yeah, you could just tell by the body language, you know. And by the way, huge play, because that stops a run, and that ended up being a big deal. So he contributed in this ball game, and you know, helped us out for sure.
To follow up on Xander, if follow-up imaging is also negative, do you think he can avoid an IL?
I think it's probably too early to tell. I mean, we'll see how he recovers with the soreness, but if the imaging is negative and he recovers well, it is more of a day-to-day situation, so we'll play it by ear.
All right, there you go. And, you know, Mike Schilt got that in there, and he's right. That ground ball by Acuna Jr. came with the bases loaded and 2 outs. So 1 run scored, but 2 easily would have scored if that ball got by him. Instead of 5-0, it would have been 6-0. And who knows how that changes the game. So, again, you know, such a razor-thin margin to decide a lot of these games. We'll find out more about Xander Bogarts maybe today, maybe more tomorrow. Sam Levitt will keep you up to date. He's got another pregame show coming up in about 45 minutes. I don't want to cut any of you short. I know sometimes it's hard to wait, but if you're online, I'll get to all of you if you can hang in. But I got to step aside for a minute here on Gwynn and Chris.
Gwynn and Chris on the Fan.
Sometimes it gets lost in the shuffle of whatever that day's issue is for, you know, the folks out there with the Padres. But the main thing remains the main thing. This team, even when it's going well, has still a small margin for error. And when you make 3 of them, at least on the defensive side, you've pretty much eaten that up already.
Listen to Gwynn and Chris weekdays from 2 to 6 on 97.3 The Fan.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, if you're taking Viagra or any other pill for ED, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I want to continue to do this for the rest of my life? If you're like most men, the answer is no. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we can restore blood flow naturally without pumping your body full of chemicals like you've been doing. Guys, you need to come in today and fix this problem now. Why are you putting this off? Viagra's not going to magically start working next week, and you don't want to use shots or go under the knife. Call us today and speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today like the thousands of men who already have. If you're tired of dealing with ED or Peyronie's disease, then call West Coast Men's Health.
With clinics in Mission Valley and Carlsbad, call 619-826-6631. That's 619-826-6631. 619-826-6631. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
As we approach Memorial Day, let us pause to honor and remember the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country.
All right, welcome back. Little intermission, Gwynn and Chris for you. Chris Ello in the Odyssey Palace Studios in San Diego, California. Phone calls coming up in this segment. Get right to it in just a sec. Join us, myself and Scraby, this Friday. We're going to be broadcasting live from Spiro's, Mediterranean Cuisine, the restaurant in Coronado. That's this Friday from 2 o'clock to 5:30. Doing the show live out there. Look forward to seeing many of you out there. We're going to have Padres tickets to give away if you are there. We'll have SD Legion tickets to give away also. And Spiro's going to be donating $1 for every meal, also $1 for every beer sold to our friends at the Lucky Duck Foundation. They work to prevent and alleviate the suffering of homelessness throughout San Diego County. It's a great group. The Lucky Duck Foundation is one of the organizations that Padres late owner Peter Seidler was very fond of. He was on that board. So make sure you come by and join us in Coronado at the Ferry Landing this Friday from 2 to 5:30. We'll have some Padre tickets to give away. Come on and enjoy some great Mediterranean food at Spiro's with us. Come say hi to Scraby and I this Friday between 2 and 5:30 ahead of the Padres-Yankees game. All right, Frank, I got people that want to talk, but got other people that need to know the lineup for the second game of the day-night doubleheader. I'm assuming Xander Bogarts is not in there.
He is not.
That would be a stunner.
No, he is not in there.
What do you got?
For the Padres, it'll be Arise at second, Tatis in right, Profar in left, Cronenworth at first, Manny DHing, Solano at third, Kim at short, Sugar in center, and Higashioka behind the plate. That is the Padre lineup. For the Bravos, it'll be Acuna in right, Albies at second, Ozuna DHing, Olsen at first, Travis d'Arnaud, as expected, will be catching, Adam Duvall in left, so no Kelnick. Harris, the second, will be in center, Arcia at short, and Short will start at third.
Short will start at third. Who's on first, as the old saying goes?
Olsen.
Third base. No, you said Short's
No,
going to
I
start
know.
at third. I'm doing a little
I know.
Abbott and Costello routine. Yeah, Padres catch a break in this series. Austin Riley hasn't played. And we already told you it might have helped them win the game earlier today. Short did not get that ground ball. And Fernando got an infield single out of it, but that could have been a double play, and he makes the play, and the inning's over. But alas, Padres score 4. They win 6-5. I can't explain this team. Perhaps you can, Mike in Temecula. First up on Gwynn and Chris today. Hi, Mike. Thanks for the call.
Hey, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I gotta be a homer and say congrats, Xander Schauffele, for the major PGA.
Xander Schauffele, for sure. Yeah, Aztec for life. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Another. Hey, on the Padres, I'm taking it the whole entire season of this is house money for us, because if you listen to all the people at the beginning of the year, it was going to be the Dodgers, Arizona, and San Francisco fighting for the positions, possibly 3 contenders to go to the playoffs. I'm looking at it as we made some minor adjustments. Yes, we got rid of people, this and that. People like all the Padres are going to be dealing with Colorado for last place. I'm loving the season. Yes, Colorado series sucked 100%. But then all of a sudden we turn back around, and right now we got 3 out of 4 out of Atlanta. I mean, we should be like just kicking back and just saying, okay, what's next? Because who knows what's going to happen with the Pods right now. It's very frustrating and exciting, if that makes any sense.
No, nothing that happens is making any sense, Mike, but I think you're pretty close to covering it. I'll push back a little bit, though. I don't know that, heading into this season, I was just willing to give it up to the Diamondbacks and the Giants to be the only teams chasing the Dodgers in the NL West. I know the Padres had to cut payroll. They traded Juan Soto, but they still have, super talent players on this roster, not the least of which is Darvish, who hasn't given up a run now in 25 straight innings and just won his 200th career ball game. Musgrove, they added Cease. They got a really nice top of the rotation. They still got Manny. They still got Fernando, who a lot of people thought was going to be an MVP candidate. I don't think he's played anywhere even close to being in the discussion yet. Doesn't mean he won't. So I wasn't really ready to give up this season. I find it maddening but exhilarating, just like you do. Mike, thanks for the phone call. Let me go to Cornelius North Park. a nice area of town. Hi, Cornelius. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Ello, and good afternoon to my San Diego Padres fans all around the county. In my little corner of town, Chris, where we fly the Friar flag all year round and we talk baseball all year round, I'm known as the Commissioner of Padres Positivity because I'm an eternal optimist.
Well, where were you last week when I needed you, Cornelius, during that Rocky series? We needed you then.
I tell you what, yeah, my bad. I went to all 3 games, and I may be banned. I may be banned from the park now because I might be a jinx.
No, you're not a jinx. Nobody's a jinx. Not even me, believe it or not. And I know people would love to think so.
Most definitely, and I know you're probably more of a realist than I, but I know this, Chris. I'm waiting for this team to turn the corner any moment. I think it's going to happen. I also think for the detractors on having a bunch of shortstops on the team, we're starting to see the guys really play great defense, and the shortstop being typically the best athlete on the field. Guys are making some amazing plays, including Kimmy's today. Last thing, I hope the X-Man is okay. Hopefully we can rub some dirt on it, get him into the next series. Let's go, Padres. Keep the faith.
Well done, Cornelius. Thank you so much. Very good call. Got to be feeling good. The other thing that the previous caller said that, I'm going to push back on is the previous caller said the Padres get winning 3 out of 4 in Atlanta. No, they've won 3 out of 3 in Atlanta. And, even though you brought this up, Frank, this is exactly what I have to, protect against. I can't just give up the second game today. I got to go get this one too. I mean, the Padres need to make a run, as Cornelius said. And to me, while it's going good, win every game on this road trip because you're not guaranteed to win any when you come home.
To be clear,
yes,
I did not say give up the second game.
I thought you did. I thought you just said give it up completely.
No, I said
I thought you said let's get on the plane and go to Cincinnati.
No, I said
you didn't say that.
I said you have to expect going in as a fan you're going to split a doubleheader. I didn't say don't go for it.
But
don't
once you get the first game, then you got to get the second one.
Yes, right. I agree.
Thank you very much, Kevin in Chula Vista. Thanks for calling, sir. Hello.
Yeah, hello there, Chris. Good talking with you again. Thanks for taking the call.
Yes, sir.
All right. Listen, it's great, unexpected comeback today. No question about it. Everybody's happy, and that's the way it should be. So just one quick comment, and actually 2 quick comments and a question for you. You being an ex-pitcher can help us out on this maybe a little bit. First of all, solve some of the Padres' problems. They can't come home. No more home games. We're staying on the road. We're going to win all whatever's left of them. We'll go undefeated.
Yes.
Because they're just doing. I don't know what the deal is about the home.
Yeah.
Maybe they've got to be sequestered in a team hotel someplace.
Might have to start sending them to the home hotel like they do for football teams, Kevin.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I just, for the love of God, I can't figure it out, and nobody else can. But nonetheless. Cronenworth at second base. He's your best second baseman on the team, at least in my opinion. The old adage is you got to be strong up the middle. There's plenty of guys that can play over at first that I don't think you're going to lose that much on. You need more over at second, and being up the middle. That's your best move. Just my opinion. Maybe you differ. I don't know. Last quick question: you being a pitcher. When pitchers come off of these super outstanding performances, for example, like Dylan Cease did today, is there a tendency to either have a physical or a mental, for lack of a better term, let down, or is there just a whole difference in that coming back off of that because you put so much into that lights out performance and then the bounce back? Is there a bounce back problem? Generally speaking,
I think didn't he have one more start in between the Chicago and this one? I think he did. But here's the thing that I would say, I would say no, honestly, just flat out no. I mean, these guys, every single game is a different game. And I think coming off a great performance, you're just feeling great. You have confidence that all your pitches are working. But then when you go out there, it doesn't always work out that way. I mean, this game, It was clear to me right from the get-go that it wasn't, going to be vintage Dylan Cease. I mean, Acuna goes single, Albies goes single, one out, Olsen goes single. He was catching too much of the plate, and Ozuna hits a 2-strike home run. Olsen completely lost one on that home run. So, in a lot of ways, I was glad to see Cease get out of there only 5-0. It could have been 8-0, 9-0 if he doesn't make some pitches, to be honest with you. So, a lot of times you got to just limit the damage, try to get out of there as clean as you can. But it clearly was not Cease's day. But how about this bullpen? See, this bullpen's just as inconsistent as everything else. How many games this year? How many games this year is this bullpen just giving away? Today they saved the day. So it's crazy.
Absolutely.
All right, Kevin. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you joining us. All right, let's keep going. More phone calls.
Hold on.
Turning it over to you out there. What? What?
By the way, just to note, Cease did pitch. He pitched the middle game against Colorado, 5 2/3, 8 strikeouts, 98 pitches.
Yeah, that's right. The Rockies ended up winning that game, but it wasn't
6-3.
Yeah, but he gave up 2, I think.
Gave up 3.
2 before he left.
Oh yeah. Then
right.
The inherited run
Kolek came in and gave up a couple. So yeah, he wasn't great in that game. But yeah, look, the Chicago game was not I don't want to say it's not, going to be duplicated, but don't be surprised if that's the best outing you see pretty much anybody have all year. I mean, 1 hit on the infield and 12 Ks, no walks, right? Or 1? I mean, it was incredible.
So which game?
The Chicago one for Cease.
Hold a moment.
Yeah, I don't know if he had a walk in that game, or I think he had a couple walks. But, I mean, look, he was totally in control of that one. So those don't come along every day.
2 walks against Chicago.
2 walks, thank you. Very good, Frank. I like having my own.
That's what I get for scoring every game.
I have my own personal information assistant over there. RJ in Lakeside. Thanks for checking in, RJ. What do you make of this crazy team right now?
I don't. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. But
yeah,
I can't tell you this. Here's something I do like. This morning, listening to the guys, Ben and Woods, about how San Diego fans are tripping, freaking out, and yet outsiders who aren't fans are wondering, well, what's the big deal? Not that bad a team. Well, 1, they're outsiders. They're not fans, so whatever. 2, I like that we're freaking out. Think about it. Last year, horrific season. Everything was on the table. Everything was set for success. Epic fail. I'm sorry, but the Padres have yet to earn our confidence. It's okay. They got to earn it back. You want us to not freak out? Well, they don't care until the ticket sales start to go down. Then maybe they'll care. But nonetheless, and at heart too, the players care about the fans. I know they do. But at the end of the day, I'm glad we're freaking out. No, we're not. Other places like New York, they freak out over everything. Philly fans are insane, and that's cool. I like that. Well, we do things different here. We just have neuroses. We just have anxiety, but not without good reason. We weren't promised anything, but last year we were shown what this team could be, and we've seen glimpses of it this year. But you know what? They don't deserve our confidence right now. That's my opinion, and we'll continue to root on for them, continue to cheer them on. Of course, want them to win, but I think it's okay that San Diego fans are not 100% behind the team every time. I'm okay that they're freaking out.
I think they're behind. I honestly, RJ, I think they're behind them 100% of the time. But I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I don't think we have a full level of confidence in this yet. I mean, how can we? We know we can lose to anyone, but on the other side, apparently now we know we can beat anybody too. So there's really no reason to completely give up on this team. We can throw our hands up in the air once in a while and wonder what the hell's going on. But
it's okay that we're not completely confident about this. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. I don't think you're less of a fan because of it, because look what happened last year. We're all in. What happened last year? Epic debacle. Been a Padres fan all my life. A long time. I'd never seen anything like this, ever, because it's never happened like this.
Well, we very rarely have gone into a – hang on, RJ. Very rarely have we gone into a season like we did last year, loaded with the kind of payroll that we had. Maybe never before. So the expectations were at an all-time high. Epic fail, I would just go fail. They ended up 82-80. That was only 2 games short of a playoff spot. And it was 2 games short of what Arizona did, and Arizona wound up in the World Series. It was certainly a fail, though. Thanks, RJ. Appreciate it. Took them all season, by the way, to get back over 500. So that's another aspect of the failure of 23. But that is no longer here, and I know that, Mike Schilt gets asked about it plenty. I know Ben and Woods asked him about it when he was on with him Friday. He was asked, can you understand why the fans are worried about a similar collapse to what happened in 23? He goes, sure, I can understand it. He goes, but it really has no impact on this team. And that's really what you got to start thinking about. If you want to worry about 23 happening over again, fine. To me, that's like, having a relationship that doesn't quite work out. When you get into the next one, do you spend the whole time worried it's not going to work out because the other one didn't? Or do you put everything you have into the one you're in? That was almost confusing, but I think you got where I'm coming from. Frank's going to put music on that. I don't blame you, Frank. Good way to go out.
Yeah, I figured it just cut you off right when
Yeah, just cut me off until I get too philosophical over
here. I'm going to
here.
give you 30 seconds less, as a matter of fact, to get out of that quicker.
Yeah, all right, good. More of Gwynn and Chris. We got another segment to go, so if you're online, hang in. We'll try to get to you before Sam takes back over with a Padre pregame.
hosts, Tony Gwynn Jr.
Will he get that one right? I think it'll be interesting. I don't feel as bad for the umpires in this one.
And Chris Ello.
Well, I'm sticking up for my brethren. I am a high school basketball official, so I stick up for arbiters in all sports.
It's time to get you up to speed on all things sports.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
With plenty of nonsense in between.
Oh, look! Here comes our fearless producer!
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, it's been a crazy few days in sports, and the Padres are riding that wave. Welcome back into Gwynn and Chris. Just wrapping things up here. An intermission get-together between the games of this day-night doubleheader. If you're just tuning in, been running around today, the Padres make it 3 straight over the Braves, rallying from 5-0 down. A run in the 5th, a run in the 7th, and then a big 4-run 8th. Cronenworth had a 2-run single to get him close. Manny Machado, 2-run double into the gap, put him ahead, and the Padres come back to beat the Braves 6-5. That's 3 straight over one of the best teams in baseball after losing 3 straight to one of the worst teams in all of baseball. You know, it all started Friday night. I knew something was afoot when the Padres, who can't hit left-handed pitching at all, one of the lowest batting averages in all of baseball, but they got enough against Max Fried to knock him out of the game. And they win a game in which Matt Waldron started. They'd only done that once all season. So, you know, when they win that one Friday night, anything becomes possible. And, you know, they get the blowout win yesterday, and then a big come-from-behind win today. Now they go for what would really be something, a 4-game sweep in Atlanta with the second game of the day-night doubleheader coming up. Sam Levitt's pregame show is about 15 minutes away. But like I said, it's been a crazy few days in sports. The Game 7s yesterday in the NBA, I don't know which one was stranger. I mean, Indiana shooting 76% in the first half. I don't think I've ever seen that. They were still shooting 70% after 3 quarters. And they finished at 67.1, the best shooting game in NBA playoff history. And the Knicks go down in Madison Square Garden. Frank, you okay? I didn't know if you were. I know you're Mets. I know you're Rangers, I think.
No, Islanders.
Oh, Islanders.
Yes.
Wow, too bad you can't ride the Rangers wave this year.
I don't want to.
Well, they're having a nice run. I don't know where you are when the Knicks.
Yeah, it is. I am a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Much in the same way Sam Levitt is as well.
Well, I feel bad for both you guys. I mean, look, when you get 3 starters hurt, basically 4.
Yeah.
I mean, Julius Randle never played in the series, and a newbie goes out. Hart is basically a shell of himself. And then if there was any hope of coming back, that went out the window when Brunson got hurt. So that to me is a hang with them for the Knicks. I think this is a team that, you know, has a shot to come right back next year as long as everybody's healthy when the playoffs roll around. I don't know what you can do, though, about a team shooting 67%. I guess you could say guard them. But
you know, when you're playing all bench players, when you're playing all secondary players the whole game, it doesn't really matter all that much. And when
Indiana shot incredible. You can't take it away from them.
No.
They set an all-time record. So I got to give them some credit. But for the Knicks, it was a tough end to what was a nice season. Celtics and Pacers. You know, I'm still not sold on the Celtics. I don't want to say they're a one-trick pony, but 3-point shooting can come and go. Pacers are similar, though. Neither team impresses me with their defense, although the Celtics probably impress me more with their defense than Indiana. But if the Pacers shoot 67%, they're going to go to the finals. It wouldn't bother me. Pacers have never won the NBA championship. Neither has Minnesota. Minnesota, I mean, are you serious? You're down 20 at Denver. Defending champ, you got your best player, Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man, playing awful. Couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. He's throwing up air balls, hitting the side of the backboard. And then somehow, some way, Minnesota not only wins the game, wins it comfortably.
What did Anthony Edwards go last night? What was it?
He was 6 of 24. And he was lucky to make the ones he did. I mean, 3 of them were layups. He finally hit a couple of jumpers, but he had an awful game. But I was just excited as an old time, get off my lawn guy to see defense finally can win a game again.
Yeah.
They turned it up on defense. That's what won them that game. Great job by Naz Reid. Came in off the bench, played terrific against Jokic. I still don't understand how Rudy Gobert has won 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards. He has so little impact on these games, but that's neither here nor there. As soon as he fouled out, the Nuggets took off, and the Timberwolves took off. I like Minnesota over Dallas, but that's because I don't like Doncic, so I'm going to root against him no matter what. We'll see what happens in the next 2 series. By the way, there's also a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup tonight. Vancouver hosts Edmonton. These are 2 Canadian teams. I get it. You're not probably a fan of either. But if you're a fan of good sports and, interesting, fun, high level, knock 'em, rock 'em, sock 'em, action, Game 7, it doesn't get a lot better than that in the NHL. So Padres first, then I would flip over, watch a little hockey tonight. I think you'll enjoy.
Yeah, especially with Edmonton.
Edmonton's got some players.
That's going to be a huge
Yes,
Game
a lot of
7.
pressure on them. They've got
a great atmosphere as well.
In Vancouver, where they I just remember 10 years ago when Vancouver lost the finals to Boston. They're one of the first cities to just burn their own city down.
Yeah, that was.
I hope they don't do that again if they lose tonight.
What was that, 2010, 2011?
2010, or 11. Yeah, 2011, about 10, 11 years ago. And I got to talk about my guy, Xander Schauffele. He's been so easy to pick on because the poor guy, I don't want to say poor, he's got more money than any of us will ever have. But this guy...
Not monetarily poor. This guy leads, it seems, every golf tournament in the 2nd or 3rd round. I mean, it's just incredible. It's like weekly, you can count on it. 1st round leader, 2nd round leader, Xander Schauffele, and at the end of the weekend, he comes up short. And, here it goes again. He shoots a 62 in the 1st round of the PGA, sets a record, or ties a record, has the lead throughout the tournament. You're just waiting for the Sunday collapse, but it never happened. I mean, it did a little bit. He fell behind by 1 with about 6 holes to play. He came right back with back-to-back birdies. I mean, that was clutch. And then he had to do it on the 18th hole after DeChambeau, tied it up at 20 under. And Xander did it, man. It was a great win for him. And as an Aztec for life, I salute him. They put up a stat yesterday. We've been so hard on Schauffele because he's, the guy never wins. He had been a top 10 finisher in a major 12 times in his career before he finally won. So you say, wow, that's not very good. I mean, that's like, you talk about a guy that just can't win the big one. Well, Ben Hogan, who's considered one of the greatest golfers ever, also had 12 top 10 finishes before he won his first major. So if it's good enough for Ben Hogan, I say it's good enough for Xander Schauffele. And it's amazing what one putt can do. The guy finishes at 21 under. He breaks the all-time scoring record for a major. He wins his first major, and he just erases all of the negativity that everybody's ever said about him. So, kudos to him for changing the narrative, and good on the Aztecs. Yeah,
getting one there.
Full disclosure, I don't watch.
You don't
golf.
watch golf. I don't either,
to it.
Except for the majors. I watch.
I do know of guys like I know of Xander Schauffele. I know of guys like Bryson DeChambeau and all them. But that was surprising to me when I saw that pop up on my ESPN app yesterday. That was his first major. I could have swore he had won at least one or two.
He was in position to win 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But it hadn't happened until yesterday. So I was excited for him. That was awesome. I mean, look, my choice was that he misses the putt at the end and he goes to a playoff with DeChambeau, who I can't stand. And then DeChambeau ends up winning. So I was happy to see Schauffele change the narrative. I mean, I picked on him as much as anybody. and so have all of us. But you know what? He hung in there, and he got it done. And it was a great win for him yesterday. I was really excited for him. All right, so that was kind of the crazy weekend, right? You had the Pacers doing what no one expected. You had the Timberwolves winning a game no one expected, especially when they're down 20. You had Schauffele winning the PGA when no one expected. And to go along with all of it, the Padres do what they've done for 3 straight games, capped off by this morning's rally from 5-0 down to beat Atlanta 6-5. So what will happen next in this crazy, wild world of sports? Well, I guess we'll start finding out in a little while. Now, don't forget, Friday, Scraby joins me. We'll be out broadcasting live. Want to see everyone come out. If you're getting off work early, a lot of people get off early on Friday. It's Memorial Day weekend. Come on over the bridge. Go down to Coronado. The weather's amazing. Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. We're at the ferry landing. We'll be broadcasting from 2 to 5:30. We're going to give away Padre tickets. You got to be there to win them. We'll give away some SD Legion rugby tickets. But mostly we'll just have a good time, eat some Spiro's food, sit around, talk some sports with all of you. That is this Friday between 2 and 5:30. So make a note of that. We'll talk about it a little more as the week goes on. But I look forward to that. Hanging out and hopefully spending some time with all of you. All right, is there anything that has happened in sports that we really need to touch on? I don't think so. It's been kind of a quiet day everywhere else. So with that, yes. Did you have something you wanted to duck in?
The only thing I could think of is that Toronto's leading the White Sox 7-3 right now, going into the top.
That's
of the
huge,
8th
Frank.
Inning.
That's
about it.
That's
as
huge.
far as live sports
How are
now.
the old White Sox doing these days? Man, did they get off to a bad start? They're still doing bad. They're at .298 winning percentage, which is the worst in baseball.
14 and 33.
About to be 20 games under 500. Will the Padres go to 2 games over 500 for only the second time this year? They beat the Braves in this night game of the day-night doubleheader. They will accomplish exactly that. To that end, Randy Vasquez pitches. Chris Sale been pitching well for Atlanta, and keep in mind the Padres can't hit left-handed pitching, and I'm only saying that because I'm fully expecting them to hit left-handed pitching the way this weekend has gone so far.
I'm seeing the NASCAR fight in the chat from last night between Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That was embarrassing, but anyway.
A NASCAR fight?
Yes.
Gee, there's a stunner. Does that ever happen in NASCAR?
About once a year.
About once a week?
No, about once a year.
Come on, man. These guys are crazy down there.
Basically, really quick, what happened was the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro last night. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. decided to take it 3 wide on the first lap. Kyle Busch thought he put him in the wall, ended up wrecking him on the next lap. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. waited for 200 laps, waited at Kyle Busch's hauler at the end of the race, and gave him one of the weakest, wussiest punches I have ever seen in my life.
I'll finish with this. Congrats to the Point Loma Nazarene baseball team. They move on to the Division II Super Regionals. They powered past Cal Poly Pomona yesterday, 12-4. They'll play Friday at Point Loma in the Super Regionals. Good luck to Point Loma Nazarene. Stay tuned for Sammy Levitt, another Padre pregame show. Thank you, Frank Marchese. Scraby joins me when we return tomorrow on 97.3 The Fan.